It is your lifestyle specialist, Kitty Burns from the People Station V103. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the what is it called? Unanimous winner from last night's battle. No, Monica, how are you, babe? Welcome to the Verizon Artist Lounge. I am so proud of you.
Thank you.
I feel like last night, honestly, it was something that took y'all to iconic status. You know, I think even y'all talked about Nip last night, and obviously, you know, you always pay respects to Mariah, but last night, people got to see y'all in an iconic way. Like, that was the biggest verses ever. You had more people watching y'all two talk for 300 hours than they had watching the MTV Awards.
You know what? It was a testament to what happens when we come together. It's crazy because we hadn't even seen each other in 8 years. We hadn't spoken in 8 years.
That is crazy. Now I want to go back to that because, you know, I'm a journalist now, Mo. So I was literally watching verses and I was taking notes. So in my notes, I saw you say, heard you say rather, it was unnecessarily difficult, this whole process. And you mentioned obviously it was 8 years since you guys have been in the room. How was it unnecessarily difficult and why did it take so long?
Well, I think communication is key. That's in anything. And people don't realize how important that is in a working relationship because when you have a certain foundation, then other things don't play as major a part. If the foundation is good, you can't start messing with the wall and things fall apart. The foundation is still there. And I just think our foundation needed work. And we just had a real dope conversation. She explained some things, why she felt a certain way about certain things. And I was able to do the same and just move forward. And it's funny because the stuff that happened off camera was bigger for me, just the human side of me, than what was actually on camera. On camera, you're seeing us, we're thinking about the songs, we're thinking about everything that we need to do, making sure we do it in a certain amount of time, making sure we remember which song is next and what's happening. So right. you didn't really get to see the authenticity of us having a real conversation as adult women. And I just hope that the back and forth dies out. Regardless to how many times we said the word celebration, people are still saying, oh, Monica won or Brandy won. There was no winner. We didn't get paid to be there. We wanted to be there in the same room together in that moment, in that space, period. So, you know, so it really is a lot different, but I have long learned that public perception is going to typically be the opposite of what's really happening. And I'm okay with that as long as the younger group of artists got a chance to see that if we could figure it out, come together and do something we wanted to do, anybody else can.
I wish I could have saw your face in the initial meeting. You know what I'm saying? Like, did y'all meet that day with the conversation that yesterday, earlier before
that day?
I know you and I know your energy and I just want to see the face. You know what I'm talking about? Like, because I know what happened and I know how long it's been with that, you know, you guys coming literally together yesterday, getting an understanding and then going live in front of the world. Now, mind you, we all was sitting there before y'all came on. You was slightly late. It was about 700,000 people that had logged in. So we like, you know, in my mind, I'm like, did she go for it? Did she, you know what I'm saying? Is it cool? Like, what? So getting from the point where you talked to you actually got on air, what was the comfortability for you before y'all actually got on air?
Well, I would never disclose what she said to me, but what she said to me was the comfortability that I needed, because I'm always cool with being accountable when something is me.
Yeah.
And, you know, that was something that we both took a beat to do. You know, there's accountability on both parts. And it's also one of those things where I think people don't understand how they can make it worse. So we had to figure out, okay, how do we make it better? If we know it's over, I'm over here raising kids. I'm going through a whole lot of different things. you know, I'm moving into my house. She's going through a lot of different things. She's raising an amazing daughter. She got all this stuff going on. We're really not thinking about each other when you guys think we are. Right. And it's just that when we come together, the friction starts over like it's 1998, 99 again. And that's what I want to end. It doesn't appear from the comments that that's happening, but that was my goal. And, you know, people want to be body language analysts and all of that. Like, you can't do that. Because
no, I'm going to tell you this, Mo. And knowing you, seeing the interaction, she really was there to make amends. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you were Mo. You know what I'm saying? Like, you were kind of like, I'm a flow. It's going to be a good thing. But she was really... But
let's pause for a second. That's my natural personality.
Yeah, but that's what I meant.
I never felt any type of way because, in all fairness, if I felt a way, I would not have been present. No Again, we weren't given anything to be there. This was a personal desire of our own. It was definitely brought to us. And my initial saying, no, I don't think it's a good idea, was only because I knew that people would still say something was wrong. Yes, that was it.
I wanted to say that because I felt like people that know you were just in the groove. Like, you were getting into the whole list of what you guys were going to be playing, this, that, and the third. And you saw from beginning to end, it loosened up even to the point, like, when you seeing all the stuff on the internet with you, she's hugging you, you dancing, you playing one of your songs.
But we was listening to my song. We were talking. We were setting up the next time we're going to see each other. Like, people have no idea. But I've learned to be okay with people not knowing or not understanding. When I go back to when you met me, people didn't get me. They didn't understand me. But eventually they what?
Right.
They did. It's like, you can't, if you know that what your intentions are, you can't get caught up on the perception of it and lose sight of what your intentions are. My intentions were to say, like, listen, we're both here and we are serious about acknowledging each other's legacies and saying, job well done on both parts. And, you know, hey, the memes are funny, all of that. We're old enough at this point to not be moved.
Yeah, 100%. But I love the queendom that was happening, the respect for each other's art, the fact that you would say you love a Brandy song. She's like, oh, that's my favorite song. And then you like, you don't know this song. She's like, yes, I do. And you'd be like, oh, okay. But I thought it felt organic. I wanted to know, you said something last night about Missy. What did Missy have to do? Because, you know, like you said, you were initially kind of like, I don't know. But then it happened, and you said Missy played a part in that.
Well, what Missy's point was that it doesn't matter what other people think when you all have common ground and you go there and do your thing. And a big part of it is my respect for Missy runs so deep. She's a big part of my history. She's a big part of everything that means something to me. Not just So Gone and all of that stuff, but you know how I am. If you've been there through me having the children and you're checking on me outside and farther than just the music goes, you become a part of my life. And that's what Missy is. And she was simply saying that let this be the beginning of many great things. Like, you go there and you just simply be you. And that's what I'm going to do wherever I go. And I'm the type of person, I can be the biggest supporter of others, but I'm not always supported. So when I feel that from someone and I know that it's real, like she was calling just before and we talked on the phone first and we talked right after and we talked again this morning. Those things are important. And we were still listening to music to close out the album. So it was important to hear from another woman. Missy's never had anybody that she was kind of like put against, but she knows what it feels like to kind of be in the midst of that by working with so many females and males that may not always see eye to eye. And she was like, I'm speaking to you and I know where you are with it.
Yeah.
Go.
That's right. And she knows how unforgiving this business could be. So to have that voice you know, especially from someone who's been through it, means the world. But I wanted to bring up the music. I forgot, Mo, like, clearly me and you locked in for life. And so whole week on V103, I'm like, yeah, we Mo this, da, da, da. We, you know, we had this whole playlist. You know, Reggie's like, Kenny, what music you want to throw in? I said, well, put, he said, I need 2 Brandy, 2 Monica. I said, well, throw Before You Walk Out of My Life, So Gone, and The Boy Is Mine, and then play I Want to Be Down. He's like, but I need 2 Brandy records. So, you know, we had some skin in the game, if you will. But the funny thing to me, Mo, and I said it today on the show, I forgot how many records Brandy had. And so when I'm listening to y'all, it was a real musical love fantasy. Like, I'm sitting there, Jessica in the kitchen singing. It's
nostalgia. It's nostalgia. And then I've always been so sincere when I say, you already know me well enough to know I don't say it if I don't mean it. If I don't want to be there, I won't be. If I don't want something, I've always done what I felt I needed and wanted to do, even as a child. And when I'm listening to her music,
that's the truth, ladies.
Listen, I'm shocked that Dallas didn't have a head full of gray hair. I always did what I wanted to do. But that was something that Brandy was really, really open about last night. She was like, Mo, a lot of what I did was because I always held things in. And see, I let everything out and then I move on. And she's like, I'm in a different space. And we were able to just talk about all the great things, you know what I'm saying, that have come from our growth individually, you know, and brought them together. But for me, when I hear her music, there is just a level of distinction. Her tone is unmatched. And you know something else that really stood out to me about the verses when she said, Mo, that's my dad and I singing in the beginning. Yeah. And a lot of people would never know that, like Mr. Norwood, listen, I'm in full support that when you with your people, you hold your people down. So when we weren't on the best of terms, I was treated as such by her people. And I'm okay with that. I'm not saying that in a negative way. You support yours, you roll with yours. But her father was always so genuine towards me. And he told me one time when I was really young, I was about 17 or 18. He said, I can look at you and see you've been through a lot and see why you feel a lot of the things that you feel. And he really spoke to my spirit, and I'm all heart. And when she told me, she was like, you probably didn't know, but that's my dad singing with me in the beginning of the song. Like, see, stuff like that is what matters to me. All the rest it's fun and games. You know, have fun with it. But the legacies and what really is important, those things just stick to me. And that was one of the moments that really stuck to me from the verses the other night, because I didn't know it was Mr. Norwood. I know he's always been a vocal coach and has taught, you know, her and many others, but I didn't know that he was singing on the record. And she was like, it's funny that that's one of your favorite records and you've never seen me and not asked about my father. So it just is so much history there. And there's a lot that people won't ever know because that's the way she and I like it. But it was the real thing at Versus.
Listen, I'm going to tell you this. I heard her singing harmonies under damn near all your songs. Like,
oh yeah,
She was so into it, and you know, you can tell she was trying to get you guys to kind of sing together and this, that, and the third. But I thought it was the ultimate sign of respect when she was doing that. It showed her appreciation, and she complimented you as well as you complimenting her a bunch of times. But I want to say this, and I was in the comments like a cold fan. I'm talking about emojis, hearts, all types of things, right? And I swear to you, she kept hinting at it, but I'm saying this as your big brother in day one. Y'all got to go on tour. And when I know I posted this in the comment. I said the kick in the door tour, because when your ass got up and you kicked that foot up, I said, that's the name of the tour.
I wanted to perform so bad. And it was so funny because, you know, you get prepped as to what's about to happen. So, you know, in the prepping, they're like, you know, you play the songs, you stay focused, you know, and the mics were really just so that we could have dialogue, because we were real serious about the sound being good. Right. We wanted everybody at home to be able to hear, and no glitches and none of that, and that you could hear everything well. So that's what the mics were for. Right. But, you know, it was just kind of innate for us to start kind of singing a little bit, but it did bring me to a space of like I would love to do like an unplugged live, like where we could really just sing and do our thing. Yeah, because Versus is just about playing the songs, really. So we had our moments where I would jump up and then think about what I was told and was like, oh.
No, okay, but that's what I'm saying.
Wait a minute.
In the Door World Tour 2021, and y'all get to do that live and come in each other's sets and sing it. I mean, I'm saying, you know, I'm just a fan of the music, and last night reminded me why. And to go across the world and do that, I promise you, it's Lights Out Joe Jackson. Like, you guys, it was amazing.
My prayer would be that people, if we were to ever tour, come have fun. You can like both. So this isn't a petition for you to like me. Let's be clear on that.
You saying it's a possibility.
I'm just saying anything is possible because we had a real conversation. It opened the doors that had been closed for many years. That's what I'm saying. And and you know me, I'm not a mean person by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm definitely one that, you know, I want to make sure everybody's on the same page. And that happened long before y'all saw us. So it just opened so many amazing musical doors. You have no idea. But I would want people to come have fun. Like, how can you have fun arguing? How can you have fun fussing?
You know what? Listen, y'all are your own person. You know, we knew that you were independent. You know, I've been known that. Commitment was on your label, Mondanice. You know, this new single we just ran 700 times today on V103 Trenches, which, by the way, Monica, that was the coldest move. You had 1.2 million in the tuck. That's people watching. Then you had another 20 million, 30 million. When you played that single, I was like, I know she learned that from us. She is smart, she is intelligent, and she bought her money. But y'all could go on this tour, Monica, and own everything. Make Versus, make Live Nation and whoever else involved, and get that Drake money, baby. Go and get that Drake money. You know what I'm saying?
Get about that Drake money. That's that serious money. I call it that real 90s money. That's that 90s money. Yeah. Listen, when they said we were going to take intermission, and a lot of people probably won't know, but that was a game time decision. I was initially just going to drop it at midnight, and I had everything done already. And I'm like, an intermission? So we're actually going to leave off and come back? Are people going to stay? You know, she and I both were saying the same thing. And one of the guys from Versus, who, by the way, Versus, everybody that was on staff was incredible.
Right.
And so I was like, you know, you sure we should take an intermission? He was like, very. And Melinda and I were talking, and I'm like, well, we dropped the record. You have to, this is what people don't understand. You have to have everything in order, whether it be the single cover graphic, it has to be registered. All of that had to be done at least 24 hours before anyway. So that gave me the freedom to say, okay, well, we'll change times. Because my thought was, once we are off of Versus, then I'll drop the single at midnight and we'll go from there. And we had everything kind of in place already, because you have to. And we were able to just take advantage of the intermission, because I was really afraid of us leaving and people feeling like, oh, they gone, it's over.
Yeah, no, I love that. I think it was a brilliant business move, and that's why I want to applaud you on, because I know you. I know the artist. I know the human.
And she was so encouraging. Yeah, like when the song was on, she wanted to know who the rapper was. She wanted to know who produced the record. Like all of that.
That's dope. That's dope. Well, again, we got to see that tour. We're gonna pray on that, and as soon as it's COVID over, we're gonna get on that.
I pray that COVID is over soon so we can get back to our lives. But until then, y'all please be safe.
Yeah.
Please.
100%. But I want to say this, and I've known every boyfriend you've had since you were 13 years old and husband.
Hold on. Did you say husbands? I was only married once.
I said husband.
Okay, because somebody started something with the whole, she been divorced twice, and no, she has not.
We're going to get to the strength you have in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
I think,
and it wasn't a lot of them now, Kenny. Don't get them to start in the new rumor.
I'm just trying to stunt on how long I know you. I know you since I got a picture on that wall I'm going to go get in 2 seconds.
No, I got some pictures in this vault. Don't make me play dirty.
Oh, by the way,
because listen, you just grew into this look. Yeah, you be fly now.
You had a brilliant, your own behind the music you did for YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
And before I get into this next thing, I wanted to applaud you on that because it was super dope to see you tell your story, get your own footage. You was pulling pictures of us from 19, whatever it was.
And you was always fly. And you know what I remember about you? You were never scared. When we would have to be in clubs or anywhere else and we would chitlin circuit in it, you would step up ASAP, like in front of Melinda and I, and say, like, yo, this little girl, she's the next. That was important because we didn't have all this access like we have now. If we didn't tell people about us, they didn't know.
Right. But I commend you on putting that together. And like I said, again, it's so important for these young Black girls to see you. I'm talking about all of you, right? They grew up with you. They love your music. But the fact that you are now running your own business with the same team in place, I just want to salute you and Melinda and all your team. Your brother, my little brother, I said hello. But I want to go into this. You said, I'm in the middle of something. And clearly we know that this justice reform thing is very important to you. Obviously, see murder. A.K. Corey Miller is important to you. I want you to, because you didn't really get into it. You got in the pieces of it. People have been seeing publicly, obviously, what you're doing online, how you're involving, engaging your superhero friends with their superhero followings and getting the word out there. I just want people to know how important it is to, because you said something profound last night. You're a Scorpio. You love like no other. We different. We different in the way that we love. And if we love you, that love stays. Because we move on in our lives and maybe with other people because things may come into play that force us to be apart, we don't lose love. You know what I'm saying? So I just want you to speak on that a little bit.
Yeah, in all fairness, I'm very serious about helping him to one day become free. Now, this isn't a contingency upon anything pertaining to me. Right. And that I was a little disappointed that the narrative ended up going that direction, because the truth is that the goal is just simply that. He has daughters now that when he was arrested were children, and they are full-grown women now. They are running a business where they sell his merch and different things of that nature. But I've looked at what it's done, not only to them, but him. And that pushed me to step into this place and to start speaking out on his behalf, was definitely to apply pressure to those that had such a big part in not just incarcerating him, but the mass incarceration that happens all over the world, especially for our men, when there's no evidence and there's no proper reasoning for them to be there. And, I was never trying to discredit anybody else. I did not know Kim well. I knew her in passing.
Right.
And I started watching. And before reaching out to her, I researched her father. I researched why this was a desire of hers. Before ever asking Corey or talking to Corey or even stepping to Lala, who is actually who put us in contact with each other the real way. Of course, I've run into her at events and she's always been exceptionally great towards me, but I did not know her the way I know her now. And studying this case and talking about the specifics of it with his lawyer, Tim, and with Jessica, and learning that there's so much evidence that says he should be a free man, it pushed me to say, if I do have a voice and I do have a platform, it has to be used for the things that I believe in, and I believe in him. And I understand that people may not understand that. And the idea of the relationship of it, of course, that's how we knew each other, but we weren't together when he was arrested. Right. And we weren't together during his incarceration, but it never changed our friendship. And it left a lot of things to be misunderstood. And, it was kind of unfair when other people got brought up. For instance, my ex-husband, I never did anything that was disrespectful in that light. And every time I went to New Orleans, he went too. The daughters know him as well. Right. You know me well enough to know that I handle my business a certain way. I don't do anything I wouldn't want done to me. So this wasn't about relationship. This was about freedom. Now, I joke about the other stuff a lot, but this was really about what's right and what's wrong. And he is not the only person this has happened to. He just happens to be the person I know and love that this has happened to. And I would openly work with anyone that's in favor of seeing him free, because I believe that he is innocent. And I have many things that support that. So working with Kim every day, we had a 2-hour call that was incredible today with him, and just prepping for the things that need to happen to ensure that he is one day possibly released, because it's not okay. And if it were your sister, brother, or cousin, you will want someone to do the same. I could care less about who else has been in his life, because right now he is property of the state of Louisiana. And until that changes, I don't care about anything else. So I'm built different. I'm made different. You can come for me. You can throw stones at me, but I know why I'm here. And I know my purpose in his life. No, I'm serious. I know my purpose in his life. I know my purpose in this case, and I'm just really forever grateful for Kim. She gets calls from everywhere for this, but for her to sit down and read through every detail of his case, she can tell you things that even I had not seen in the almost 19 years. She's not playing around with this. And hopefully after we help him, we can help even more people, because there are too many that have been wrongfully convicted. And it happened to him not once, but twice. So I appreciate you asking.
No, and I want to amplify it even more, because we saw the Chronicles. We saw the No Limit Chronicles, and we saw he was a wild boy. We all knew him and know, what I'm saying? We know, but he didn't do that. You know what I'm saying? And everybody who was involved says he hasn't do that, including the key witness, the bouncer guy. So I'm glad you did. And I want to say this about all the naysayers. You can say what you want about anybody in this world, but when they can help you do something, like Kim can really help Monica and help Corey and help his family, you got to be down with that. Like I get, you know me well. I hold our people responsible for their word, because I feel like those words are the most powerful thing, especially if you're a leader in the Black community. So I commend you for that. And I support you in anything I can do with my resources. You have, but that's dope, because it happens far too many times. It
happens so often. And the people that he's brought to us as well, the thing about Corey is, he's always referenced as the wild one, or he this or he that. Every time he was in something, it was protecting someone near him. That's number one. And then number two, even though he's not free, he's still bringing cases, other people that are in the same predicament that he is, because he wants to help them too. Most people would simply just be trying to help themselves.
Of course.
And, that's just not how or who he is. But it goes back to public perception is not always the reality. And if you do not know someone, now people could just say whatever they want. But in this case, the facts are the facts, and they are all in his favor. It is unbelievable. I mean, DNA not matching, the recanting of statements, and even long before the last documentary, there was his daughter. They all put together something where they talked about this case years ago. He tried to speak out 2014. He's just really not been heard. So this is not a new fight for him, but he's strong every day. And I definitely would love all the help that we can get in raising the awareness, and then for it to continue even after he's free. But this is so much bigger than just myself. And I have grown to love Kim in such an unconditional way, because I thought that she just shows up and use her celebrity like anyone else would think. And that's not what it is. She is definitely her father's child. And with her being in her second year of law school, some of the things that she even teaches me as we're studying his case, they're just commendable. And I refuse to be distracted by outside noise. Until we're no longer saying free C murder and it's backwards, I'm relentlessly going to fight for it, because I know that's what's right. And I wish somebody would do that for some of the other men that are still sitting there, and women.
And you know, it's amazing how God, you know what I'm saying, helps you find your purpose. And it's so dope to hear that he's fighting for others and using his voice and now his relationships, because the people you bring into the table are now advocates for him. So what he says and who he brings to the table might have an opportunity as well. I want to say this, you have endured a lot, you know, and you know, again, the reason I even wanted to ask you about the Corey Miller thing is because when you talked about a child, you fell back in the chair, you did one of these. I was like, I ain't seen that in a while. But I want to talk about, you said something in the verses that was amazing. And it's the truth, especially for us Scorpios. We find solace in our pain a lot of the times. And a lot of your music, you know, were your relationships, were the trials and tribulations in your life and what you were going through, you know. And I told you this on my live. You know, we did a live on TKBS during the quarantine. Mm-hmm. And I just gave you your props for being so strong, because you're not the moper. You're not the feel sorry for myself woman. You're not the, you know, oh, no, you take all of that. I'm going to be straight. I got my own. You got your own. And I don't think people really realize the strength it takes for that. So please share with these young black women, black, brown women, white, everybody, how important it is to know who you are and live in that strength.
You know, I always say, I know who I am and I know whose I am. And growing up, you know, I have a really religious background, believe it or not. I know my mom is a first lady. That's at church, of course. And my grandmother was a Baptist foot stomping, sing from the pew, didn't play, pass you the peppermint, that was your signal to be quiet type of grandma. I grew up like that. And then I also had a father that was acclimated to just hood life. And he, you know, dropped out in the 8th grade, but still always kept multiple jobs and hustles. And he never was a lazy man. Even with one leg right now, you'll go in there, he'll be exercising one arm from his stroke. Like, I come from all of these things. And sometimes people don't have their parentals right around them, but remembering that you come from these things. Now, I'm speaking right now to our people in particular. We come from strength. Being systematically oppressed and pushed and mistreated constantly all of our lives. It happened before we were born. This generation, when I say we, our grandparents, everywhere else. So the strength is there. We don't really tap into it all the time, but it's there. And I always say, if you listen to Still Standing, I say, walk by faith and not by sight. The reason I say that is because faith is the substance of things you can't see, but you're hopeful for. You know that they're there. And so that's what I tell people. You have to exercise your faith. Amen. When things get tough for me, I exercise my faith. When I lost my uncle, I was at my absolute lowest. I mean, I was at my absolute lowest. And then we were in quarantine. There's no income. Money's constantly going out. I'm still going to provide. You know, I take on a lot of jackets that are like that of men, you know? Yeah. And so with me doing that, which is also why sometimes people mistake me being aware as guarded, I'm always dealing with something, but I never fold. And I tell my kids all the time, if you don't get anything else from your mama, remember, it's okay to bend, just not to break.
Come on.
Because the things that are happening in your life are really just to build you, not to break you. People always talk about what they can't do and where they can't go. Well, you know what I did during quarantine? When I looked around and I said, okay, well, this much goes out every month and this much has come in. I started delving back into the businesses that I wanted to create that before I didn't have time for, working on the relationships that I hadn't worked on because I was so busy, doing things that I had never done before. It's important to make use and adjust. And adjusting is what I think God wants us all to do right now, because he's in control. We're just here to figure out our purpose and what he wants us to do. And so that's what we have to do. People contact me when they're feeling depressed. I get people reaching out to me when they're thinking about suicide and things of that nature. And I enjoy speaking life because we only get one. And I'm far from perfect, but I definitely can tell you that a lot of things that the devil thought would break me, they built me. They built me. They helped me to create who you see before you. So without preaching too hard, I just want to say that it's already in you. It's within you. You're capable of it. You just haven't tapped into it yet. And sometimes it's like tears that help you tap in. It's sometimes it's pain that helps you tap in. Sometimes it's not knowing what you're going to do that helps you tap in to what you got to do. And so I just tap in. I tap right in. And I mean, I pray that some young girl like me that's always being told what she can't do. I've been the underdog out the gate, and I never had a problem with it. Out the gate. Out the gate, everything is she can't, she won't, she didn't, they did it better. And everything they said I couldn't do, by God's grace, I didn't do it once, I didn't do it twice, I did it over and over because I tapped in. Tap into your strengths. I know it's people that sing better, that look better, they got better homes, but guess what? This home is enough for me, God, because you allowed me to do what I didn't even know was within my power because I tapped in. So Amen. That's it. That's all on that. Just tap in. Y'all tap in. It's in you. It's in you. I promise you it is.
Listen, I just felt like I went to church. I felt like you was in the Baptist church with your grandmother learning the way, okay?
No, I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
I felt it. And you know I'm like that too. You know, I use my platform to speak life into people because the other alternative is to speak negative. And we're not those people. And we're not going to take negative situations and let them own us or control us. So I love you for saying that. But I want to end it with this, because I know you got to get with the babies before they go to school. Before they go to sleep, because they got to go to school in the morning. They get up at what time, by the way?
Ooh, baby, you know my mama early riser at 6:14. Wow. I don't even think she wait till 15. At 6:14, ring the alarm. Do you hear me? It's like, but the good thing is that when I work all night, sometimes I'll just come in and go through that routine. And then, you know, once they're off to school, then I'll go to sleep and I get back up. But I'm best. I'm my greatest self in the evening.
That's right.
I'm my greatest self in the evening. But 6:15.
Yeah, okay. So I want to end this with something I was very, 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 very proud of you and Brandy for make happen last night. Kamala Harris came on, you know, this Versus, you know.
Yes.
Were you guys live before I asked the question? Were you live? She was live?
Yes. Yes, so and we didn't know that she was actually coming on. Hey, baby. Hey. Kenny just mentioned y'all. What's up? Oh, Mello said, what's up, Kenny?
Mello, what's up?
You know he love your sons. That's my baller right there. Come here, boo. He putting his stuff down. What's up, Rocco? Come here. It is incredible looking at how big these people are. But yes, Kamala Harris.
Kamala, yeah.
She what you got in your hand?
What's up? What's up, grown man?
What's going on?
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
It's crazy. He could drive me around now.
Yeah, that's nuts.
You want to say hi? Come say hi. I was ecstatic to see Kamala Harris. We did not know that she would be calling in. Crazy. And so with the merch, hey, Princess,
Hey, beautiful.
Say hi.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi.
Looking like
You
your
say
mom
hello.
and daddy
How are
pushed
you?
their faces together.
She's like, I did not know that she was going to come through. And with the merch, what we actually did was Brandy and I both agreed that it would be great to say, listen, we don't want the proceeds of the merch.
Right.
Let's put this into getting people out to vote. And so that's what we did with all of the merchandise. Anybody that purchased, people were fussing at me online about, well, we wanted to wear it tonight. We apologize, but we sat down and we came up with all of this stuff at a time where it's like, okay, listen, we'll put it up and let's push everyone to vote and remind them of the importance of voting. And so we were excited just knowing that Mrs. Obama even tweeted it and just said, like, thank you for being a part of it. And like, we were excited. We didn't know we were going to actually get a FaceTime, like a call, until we were there. But it was a good surprise. It was just another bit of confirmation that we were in the right place, doing the right thing, or at least trying to. I hope that people, at least somebody, felt the love and the togetherness somewhere and what we were really trying to do. I wish, more than anything, I wish they could have seen what was happening off camera.
But you know what, Mo? They felt it. And I'll tell you why they felt it. Because not only did you make it clear it was 8 years in the making since you saw, spoke, whatever, the fact that you got together, the fact that you had the utmost respect for each other's creative offerings. And then you could see the dynamic. At the end of it, y'all were hugging. And that's why we're doing the Kick in the Door World Tour 2020. Monica and Brandy, but I just want to tell you.
I have retired from the kick door.
No.
Let the kick door go.
Let me hold on. Let me tell you why it's the Kick in the Door tour, because y'all are independent. She revealed that she's through her thing and now she's independent too. So y'all are bosses, kicking the door down for the generation. My little niece I just saw kicking it down for that generation, getting in where you fit and getting all the bread. And I just want to tell you, with my entirety, not only am I proud, I always build you up and tell you how much I love you and how much I'm proud of you, but the things that you are doing for these young Black and brown babies is immeasurable. This is a time where phoenixes will rise from the ashes. This is a time where bigotry and racisms are being exposed. And out of this, we're going to have classism, because that's the next thing after. But we need y'all. We need y'all voices. Black women save me. Black women will save the world. And you got to continue to share your story without, unapologetically like you always have, but without any sense of falsity. Knowing that it's right, knowing that you have to do it. And I want you to keep going. I'm happy. I'm just happy. Seeing that last night made my year, damn near.
It was so much fun. And I want to remind people and encourage them, keep supporting the artists you love. Like B7 is out right now. It is an incredible album, harmonies and sounds and movements like no other. Buy the album, stream the album, purchase her album. If you love Brandy and you see that she's worked hard to bring you something, as special as B7, support it. Stream it, get it. That's really how you keep those that you love and you enjoy lifted and in a space to always create for you. That's how you do it. When I see something now, and one of the girls that works for me, she's a lot younger. She was like, "Why'd you buy that? You didn't have to buy that. You could just go listen on." I don't go do that. That's not the way we do it. So buy B7. Trenches is out now. You can get it. The album's not out yet.
Featuring Lil Baby.
Lil Baby smashed.
Killed that.
Do you hear me? Smashed. And let me tell you this. I'm going to say this one time and one time only. It's a lot of people that need a lot of extras and preparation and over the top. And that doesn't make them less of an artist. It makes them a different type. I walked in the session. I sat down and I talked to this man like I'm talking to you. about everything that's going on, just giving him a rundown. And I said, I want you on this record, because he's also very well informed. He speaks on a lot of very important matters too. So I'm like, you're the one. I know you're the one. And I told him, I was like, I want us to mesh on this record like no other. And he literally sat there in a few minutes and it was done. That's what I'm talking about. Gifted. Young, Black, gifted, unafraid, fearless, ready to work. Incredible.
That's right. That's right. Well, listen, you keep going. We appreciate you joining us for the Verizon Artist Lounge. And you're necessary. Your mommy's necessary. Your mom is a whole legend. She's a whole icon. Do you know your mama's an icon?
She said,
That's right.
Oh, really? Give me some, girl. She up next. This thing right here, the singing and dancing, it's like me all over again.
Come on. We here for it. So we love you. Anytime and every time you do anything, Monica, we at the People Station are here to support you, my love.
Man, thank you. I love you from the bottom of my heart, Kenny. Jessica, you got the patience of Job. I know you're a handful, but I love y'all.
But you know, I protect you with my life. One thing you're going to feel safe with me is you're going to feel safe and you're going to get nice gifts.
And you work hard.
That's right.
A man that does not work does not eat. Says the word.
Amen. Tell your mom I love her. And tell me
I will.
You stay focused and stay on it, okay?
Always. You say bye. Tell Kenny bye. Look at her spiraling around.
Yeah, she's showing me her talent. You next.
All day. She next. She can have it.
Okay.
All right. Good night.
Love you.
Love you too.